For Sacramento, the introduction to the Unabomber was fatal. In December of 1985, a package was left outside Sacramento's Rentec computer rental.
I had a direct shot towards the building, and I saw the door open, and all of a sudden a big explosion. It was really big, and then all of a sudden I saw him stagger out and fall down on the ground.
The man killed was Hugh Scruton, Rentec's owner, the first death in the Unabomber's campaign, which began 7 years earlier. Family described Scruton as a gentleman who could not fathom anyone wanting to hurt him.
That's right. I've never experienced grief before, and it's an extremely profound feeling, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Tell me when to breathe.
The FBI issued a $25,000 reward for the capture of the unknown bomber. But then they announced something unexpected.
Federal Bureau of Investigation has connected this bombing to 6 other incidents which began in late 1979.
His first devices were actually put down in early '78.
Chris Ronay would know. He is the one who made that connection.
Oh, these are the Unabomber books, some of them.
Ronay is retired now, but used to head the FBI explosives investigation.
After the second bomb, after the airplane bomb, I put a report out to the whole country, to all the offices. This is a serial bomber. This is the same guy. Built these bombs.
It was to be an important connection. The man would become known as the Unabomber. Not a name he chose, but a combination of what investigators thought were his targets: university, airline, bomb.
A lot of guys, just like Ted Kaczynski, have a very inflated estimation of their capability and ability to fool you and can get away with it.
And get away with it he did from 1978 through 1995, across the country, and particularly Northern California. The Unabomber hit UC Berkeley twice before the Rentec bombing. There were 5 more bombings after that, one mailed from the downtown Sacramento post office. A fatal bombing in 1994 in New Jersey. A witness saw him and produced the now famous rendering of the Unabomber.
Now, he was very aware of evidence and careful, and he never left a fingerprint.
So far, we seem to have one confirmed dead. I'll be getting that data for you in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Then the bombing that would be his last, another fatal bomb in Sacramento, April 24th, 1995.
It sounded like when somebody drops a dumpster.
A package had been mailed to the offices of the California Forestry Association, a lobbying group. Gilbert Murray from Roseville died when the bomb went off.
We know that the device that exploded was disguised as a package. It's been described as approximately the size of a shoebox and having elicited unusual interest only in that it was exceptionally heavy.
If you looked at the ones from '78 and the ones from '94, which were killing people, you could still make a connection, but it wouldn't be as conclusive as taking it step by step by step.
Ultimately, Ted Kaczynski did himself in. A demand that the Washington Post print a manifesto against technology was met, and his own brother, David Kaczynski, recognized the writing and turned him into the FBI. Agents converged on the town of Lincoln, Montana, arresting Kaczynski, taking back 40,000 journal pages, bomb-making materials, and a live bomb ready to be mailed. Kaczynski was eventually brought back to Sacramento, where he was supposed to face trial. In a strange twist, as part of the evidence, his cabin was transported here and stored at this storage facility in Rancho Cordova, where it sat for over a year. Eventually, by 1998, in a last-minute deal, Kaczynski pled guilty and was sentenced to 8 life sentences before he died this morning. In Sacramento, Dave Manocheri, KCRA 3 News.
Well, Kaczynski had been in a Supermax prison in Colorado before he was transported to that medical facility in North Carolina due to illness. If the retired agent Chris Ronay looks familiar, he played a major role in another investigation in our area. He investigated the bombing of the Harvey's Casino in South Lake Tahoe in 1980 and is actually part of our documentary, Bringing Down the House, which you can watch right now. It's streaming on Very Local.